Hey Java developers, do you think Java can be used for creating AI applications? Now, many people are reaching out to me, and one of the questions that they have, or one of the belief that they have, is Java is not for AI. Now, with generative AI, what is happening is models are being made available in the through APIs, and this opens up an opportunity for a lot of Java developers to actually start creating AI applications using Java. And what I'm going to do in this video is actually show you a very simple way to get started with OpenAI APIs and creating your first steps towards creating AI applications. So let's get into the code and I'll show you how to get started. All right. So whenever you want to get started with creating AI applications with OpenAI, what you need to do is go to this platform.openai.com and look at its documentation. So here you should be able to get an overview of all the various APIs that are provided. It also gives you examples, and it's a great way to get started. So come here, take a look, and these are some of the APIs which are there: Completion API and Chat API. What I will show you in this example is how you can use Completion API. That's the simplest API where you can actually send a prompt and get a response back. What you would probably be doing in ChatGPT, right? Where you type in your prompt and ChatGPT shows you the completion of that prompt, right? We'll try and do something very similar in this example. Now, to make use of, to work with this APIs, a couple of ways you can actually just start working with APIs directly through HTTP. But another approach is for you to make use of the Java library that is available for OpenAI API, right? So you can go to Theo Canning's repository where he has made Java-based client libraries and service libraries available. I'll post a link to this in the description. You can go to that. But this is a great way to get started. You can actually you get dependency to the library. Just create a Maven pom.xml and put that there, and you're good to go. So I'll just quickly show you what you need to do. So let's go to our code, IntelliJ IDEA, and I've set up the basic Maven structure with the dependency. I'm getting all the three different libraries which are available, APIs, which is just interfaces, giving interfaces all various different libraries which OpenAI provides. Then the service layer of that, which is the implementation of those APIs from the client perspective, and then a client library for you to actually start working with OpenAI. Now, with that done, first thing is obviously the main file. What I'm going to do here is, this is a very simple main file where I'll actually print out the output, but the actual code will be in this class called AI client. Now, AI client is again a very simple class to begin with. It has instance of the OpenAI service, which is part of the library which we have imported. And now OpenAI gives you various different types of models to work with, right? There are while there is GPT 3.5 and GPT 4 as the larger foundational models, there are various different fine-tuned models for specific purpose. In this example, what I will do is I'll use TextDaVinci 003 because I just want to do a simple completion, right? So I'll make use of that model. And now in this class, it's very straightforward. It just has a simple constructor where I am going to take the token. Now, if you are working with OpenAI APIs, you will need to create tokens. And to do that, you will need to have an account with GPT, with OpenAI, and you can go create an account, and then you should be able to go and see your API keys. You can create API keys here in this URL, openai.com account API keys. Initially, you should be able to get some credit for free for you to get started with $5 credit, and as you use the APIs and as you call the APIs, this credit will keep getting coming down. So it's easy to get started. So go ahead and create an account on OpenAI platform and create a API key, and then you should be good to get started. Now make sure that your key is securely stored. So I'm using that as I'm passing it in as a parameter to this when the Java application gets started. So that's a good way of doing it. So what's going to happen is in the main.java, I'm going to get it here. Args0 will be the token that is passed in, and I will pass into the constructor of AI client. So I can create an instance of OpenAI service using the token. So this gives me an instance of AI service, OpenAI service, which I'll be creating in the AI client. And then in this class, I have a very simple function, a simple method called complete, where I'll be passing in the prompt, and I can pass any other model if I want, or as per the code, I'm going to check if you're passing in, if the client is passing in a model to this method, then I'll use that. Otherwise, it will be just using the default model. And then the next thing is to create the request. So the way it works with OpenAI API is that you send a request object. In that, you can set a prompt, you can set the model that you're going to use, you can set the temperature. Now, there are various different parameters that you can set for OpenAI APIs. I'm not going to go through all of that. It's all there in the documentation. But with this, you can actually control the kind of output that you're going to get. For example, temperature controls how creative the response is going to be, right? It's between 0 to 1. So if you make it 1, it's gonna come up with a very creative response, but you'll also get a lot of hallucination. So it's your choice what you want to do. You can update it. So in this method, I'm going to just do the completion request, set the values, and then create completion is the API to be called. And what it does is, as you can see from the API, it has, you have to pass in the request, and it returns back a response with choices. So there could be many choices which have the content in it, right? And you need to use, you must have been seeing in ChatGPT, right? You keep getting responses, right? It adds, right? Not the entire thing is created together. So you keep getting responses from the API, and you can keep showing the answers. So that's the same thing which happens here. So you get a list of choices, which is called completion response, and then you can use that to so completion choices, and you can use that and go through it and show the text. So that is what is happening here. You take the complete and call the create completion. It will return the choices, and in the main you can actually get hold of those. So what I'm doing here is call complete, pass the prompt, pass a model. In this case, I'm just going to pass null, so that it will be using a default, and it will return the choices. And then I'm going to loop over that for each choice. I'm just going to print it. So that's all that we're going to do here, right? And in this example, I'm going to pass this prompt, and let's see what response comes back. So I'll just run this, and I got a response: cool down with your delicious treats. Right? Write a tagline for ice cream. So that's what it came up. So I'll just try and change Java is a great programming language. It was created by, suppose this is the prompt that we are passing in. Let's see what ChatGPT says, or GPT says. Yeah. It was created by James Gosling in 1995. It's used for a variety of tasks, including web. That's it. So that's the simple way of getting started, right? Now this is very similar to what you would have probably got in ChatGPT, right? But here everything is being done through Java, right? It's just pure Java code, and it can get its basic tasks done. Now there are many more things that you can do, right? And if you go through the documentation, you can see various different APIs and various different use cases. What I'll try and do is add more, right, and share various different use cases. You're free to follow me in my YouTube channel. I'll share the link to that, and I'll also share the link to the code, right, which I put on my GitHub account. Feel free to follow that, and you can always refer for examples, and also reach out to me for any questions. So hopefully this was useful for you, and hopefully you'll get started on a generative AI learning journey using Java, right? Hopefully this was useful. Thank you. Bye-bye.